so it could be skimmed off the surface. Issa 1. 25. Mal 3. 2. The refiner sat in front of his furnace and supplied the charcoal fire with a forced draft by means of bellows. Just 6. 29. Mal 3. 3. Gold frequently has silver with it in varying amounts. How these were separated in Bible times is not known, but a distinction in the methods of treating the two seems to be noted in Proverbs 17. 3 and 27. 21. The refining pot is for silver and the furnace for gold. Nitric acid was evidently not discovered until the 9th century CE, so previously gold was purified by other means. For example, if lead was present with the gold, the impurities could be fluxed off as a slag, while the gold would be held by the lead. Then by slowly boiling off the lead, an operation known as cupelling, pure gold would remain behind. This process requires considerable skill, for if the temperature is too high or the boiling off too rapid, the gold is carried away with the lead. The operator learns to judge and control the refining by the color of the molten metal. Compare PS 12. 6. Just 6. 28-30. S22. 18-22. The use of lye in the refining of silver is alluded to in the scriptures. Mal 3. 2, 3. If the copper-bearing ore was an oxide or a carbonate, mixing the crushed ore with charcoal and burning it freed the copper in the metallic state. However, if the copper ore was a sulfide, preliminary roasting was necessary first to burn off the sulfur as sulfur dioxide and at the same time convert the copper sulfide to copper oxide. Then it could be reduced with charcoal to obtain the free metal. Extraction of iron was more difficult, because of the tremendous heat required. Iron melts at 1535 degrees C, 2795 degrees F. The ancients, however, built smelting furnaces equipped with bellows to give a forced draft similar to present-day blast furnaces. De 4. 20. Just 6. 29. S22. 20-22. There are no details as to Hebrew iron furnaces, but they may have been similar to those known to have existed in ancient India. Made of clay, pear-shaped, about 1.2 meters, 4 feet in diameter at the bottom, narrowing to 0.3 meters 1 foot at the top, they had goatskin bellows equipped with nozzles attached to clay tubes that supplied air to the bottom of the furnace. Charged with charcoal, the fire was started and the ore was added. Another layer of charcoal was then added on top, and the forced heat was continued for 3 or 4 hours. With the rung completed, the front of the furnace was broken down to remove the bloom of metal. It is a simple matter to win lead from its common ore, galena, that is, lead sulfide. First the ore is roasted with an injection of air to convert the lead sulfide to lead oxide. The sulfur combines with oxygen and forms the gas sulfur dioxide. The lead oxide is then mixed with charcoal and charged into a blast furnace. Then the carbon dioxide is driven off, leaving the liquid lead behind in the crucible. Figurative use. Jehovah himself is referred to as a refiner. His word is highly refined. 2 22. 31. PS 18. 30. 119. 140. PR 30. 5. This tried and tested word is one means by which God purifies his people in removing all sinful dross of uncleanness. PS 17. 3. 26. 2. 105. 19. Dar 12. 9, 10. Mal 3. 3 fiery trials also refined the faithful. O texto e acute miritra longo, registration 765 allowing the exodus from Egypt. To assist Moses in this undertaking, a chieftain was selected out of each tribe to take the responsibility and oversight of the registration in his tribe. Not only were all males listed who were 20 years old and upward eligible for service in the army, but the law also placed on the registered ones a hair tax of half a shekel $1. 10 for the service of the tabernacle. X 30. 11-16. New 1. 1-16, 18, 19. The total number listed amounted to 603,550, excluding the Levites, who would have no inheritance in the land. These paid no tabernacle tax and were not required to serve in the army. New 1. 44-47. 2. 32, 33. 18. 20, 24. The record in the Book of Numbers shows that account was also made of the number of firstborn males from the 12 tribes, and of all the Levite males, from a month old and upward. New 3. 14, 15. This was because Jehovah had bought the firstborn ones as his when he saved them from the destruction of the firstborn in Egypt. Now he desired to use the Levites as his specially sanctified ones for sanctuary service. The Levites were therefore to be given to Jehovah by Israel to redeem the firstborn of the other tribes. The count showed that there were 22,000 male Levites and 22,273 non-Levite firstborn. New 3. 11-13, 39-43. To redeem the 273 firstborn in excess of the Levites, a 5 shekel $11 payment to the sanctuary was required for each. New 3. 44-51. Also the Kohatites, Gershonites, and Merarites between 30 and 50 years of age were numbered. These were given special assignments of service at the sanctuary. New 4. 34-49. On the plains of Moab. A second recorded registration is the one taken on the plains of Moab, after the scourge because of Israel's sin in connection with Baal of Peor. It was found then that the number of men 20 years old and upward was 601,730, a decrease of 1,820 from the census taken nearly 39 years earlier. New 26. 1, 2, 51. The count of Levites from a month old and upward was 23,000, or 1,000 and more than the first census. New 26. 57, 62. David's calamitous registration. A registration taken toward the end of King David's reign is also recorded, one that brought calamity. The account at 2 Samuel 24. 1 reads, And again the anger of Jehovah came to be hot against Israel, when one incited David against them, saying, Go, take account of Israel and Judah. The one who did the inciting is not there identified. Was it some human counselor? Was it Satan? Or even God? 1 Chronicles 21. 1 helps to answer the question, saying, Satan proceeded to stand up against Israel and to incite David to number Israel. That rendering in the New World Translation agrees with the Hebrew text and with translations into Greek, Syriac, and Latin. It is also consistent with the renderings in other translations. At NERS, JB, Mo. However, as the footnote at 1 Chronicles 21. 1 points out, the Hebrew word samiddle.tan can also be rendered a resistor. Byington translates it as Satan. Young's translation reads, an adversary. So it is possible that the one moving David to decide on the calamitous course was a bad human counselor. Interestingly, a footnote at 2 Samuel 24. 1 shows that this text could be rendered. And again the anger of Jehovah came to be hot against Israel, when he incited David against them. A translation in the Bible in Basic English reads, Again the wrath of the Lord was burning against Israel, and moving David against them, he said, Go, take the number of Israel and Judah. Hence, some commentators consider that the one or he who incited David to take the census was Jehovah. His anger against Israel, according to this view, predated the census and was due to their recent rebellions against Jehovah and his appointed king, David, when they followed first ambitious Absalom and then the good-for-nothing Sheba, the son of Bichri, in opposition to David. 2 Sa 15. 10-12. 20. 1, 2 Such O textoi acute miritra longo, registration 766, because the king's word had been detestable to Joab Levi not being counted, in accord with the law at Numbers 1. 47-49. Joab either stopped before registering Benjamin or delayed the progress of the registration, and David came to his senses and called a halt to it before Joab had completed it. 1 Ch 21. 6 Joab may have avoided Benjamin, because he did not want to stir up this tribe that was the tribe of Saul, which had fought David's army under Joab before uniting with the other tribes under David. 2 Sa 2. 12-17 No doubt, because the making of the count was wrong, it was not entered into the account of the affairs of the days of King David. 1ch 27. 24. The count revealed that Israel had 1,100,000 men, and Judah had 470,000, according to the record at 1 Chronicles 21. 5. The report at 2 Samuel 24. 9 says 800,000 men of Israel, and 500,000 men of Judah. Some believe that a scribal error exists. But it is unwise to ascribe error to the record when the circumstances, methods of counting, and so forth, are not fully understood. The two accounts may have reckoned the number from different viewpoints. For example, it is possible that members of the standing army and all their officers were counted or omitted. And different methods of reckoning may have caused a variation in the listing of certain men, as to whether they were under Judah or Israel. We find what may be such an instance at 1 Chronicles 27. Here 12 divisions in the king's service are listed, naming all the tribes except Gad and Asher, and naming Levi and the 2 half-tribes of Manasseh. This may have been because the men of Gad and Asher were combined under other heads at the time, or for other reasons not stated. Jehovah's judgment. Jehovah's prophet Gad was sent to David, giving David, the authorizer of the census, a choice of one of 3 forms of punishment. A famine for 3 years, the sword of Israel's enemies overtaking Israel for 3 months, or a pestilence for 3 days. David, leaning on God's mercy rather than man's, chose to fall into the hand of Jehovah. In the pestilence that followed, 70,000 persons died. 1ch 21. 10-14. Here another variation is found between the Samuel and Chronicles accounts. Whereas 2 Samuel 24. 13 says 7 years of famine, 1 Chronicles